I'm back with another video, and today is gonna be a bit different. Usually I do like the video diary type thing, right? Um, but yeah, also the lighting is different. I had to get a different lamp, but I hope that it's okay. I don't have any professional setup anyway. but so usually I do my video diary type thing, or I tried out like the tier list ranking Harry Potter theme shit so like once. Didn't go bad, right? But in the end I didn't enjoy it as much. It was like not something that I wanted to do regularly or like more often. And then I had a thought while listening to music in the bus. I was just like passed out basically. Not passed out, but in the music, in my thoughts, right? And I was like, what am I interested in? Psychology. Okay. I fucking love psychology. I find it so interesting. I find human emotion, human thoughts, so interesting. And it was like, I like, what's an extreme emotion that interesting? Fear. And people are scared a lot of different stuff. Like in this video, I'm going to talk about globophobia, the immense fear of balloons, which I'm gonna, not balloons, not the game, balloons, right? Also, my hair is not as good as usually. Just excuse that, I guess. Didn't have the nerve to do that because this side, this front, is too straight. Okay, probably the way I slept. Whatever. Washed my hair yesterday. Um, but yeah, so I will definitely do those like video diaries again, right? That won't disappear. But I think I want to try this out, and I think it's a really cool thought. I did some research, and I would really like some feedback. If you like the videos, anything really, anything, or if you have some weird fears, some strange things that people are usually not scared of or freaked out by, comments, because that interests me, and maybe I'm gonna include that in another video in the future. Um, like I said, I would just be very thankful for feedback. Um, I will read all of it, and let's get started, I guess. So, today's topic: globophobia. But like phobia is like an extreme fear of something, right? Like when you have an extreme fear, like a phobia for spiders, right? Like my sister has. So, but first we need to ask each other, like, what is fear? Like we say, like, oh, I'm scared, or like, like you feel fear. But what is fear? So fear is something that people feel when they feel like there's like a threat or a possible harm. That can be physical harm, emotional harm, psychological harm. And what that is, I'm gonna get into now. So physical harm can be anything that can like cause an injury to your body, which, for example, when there's like extreme heat, right? For example, when you accidentally touch a stove that's turned on, or you see a fire spreading, fear should kick in. It should, to like, maybe for you to not like die or like get very badly injured, right? Then there is emotional harm. That is like when you feel something threaten your feelings or your self-worth or like a relationship, whatever. For example, the fear of losing someone that is dear to you, for like losing someone that you love, and that can cause immense emotional distress. I don't think there's a single person that I know that I ever met. You can't tell me you have never been scared as a kid that something happened to your parents when they came home a little later, like 5 minutes later. You're like, the whole scenario in your head, oh my god, did they die? Oh my god, what happened? Did they get hit by lightning? I don't fucking know. But you are scared, that your parents die or that something happens to them, right? Right? You should have been. Um, and I had that a lot of as a kid, and that's still one of my biggest fears, losing someone that's dear to me. It goes through all of my nightmares. I made my very first video about um, childhood nightmares that I had. I was talking about the less traumatizing ones, but the more extreme ones that I have more often are about people I love, people that are dear to me, friends, family, whatever. Also animals that I like getting tortured, getting killed, something happens to them in front of me and I can never do shit. And I have to watch them. Yeah. That's my, like, I can't do shit and something awful happens to them. That's my nightmares usually, and I have a lot of nightmares. Um but yeah, let's move on. Psychological harm. Psychological harm is like when a person or something can like affect your beliefs, thoughts, perspective on reality. For example, when someone gaslights you, which can happen in all sorts of relationships, like family, friends, workplace, partnership, like romantic relationship, right? And that's when someone manipulates you into doubting memories or your sanity, and then plays with how you view your own reality. Um, like I said, it's possible in all kind of relationships ever. And like, yeah, it's making your doubt your view of reality, and then it's making you more dependent on the person that's gaslighting you, because they make you feel like you don't know what's going on, but they know exactly what's going on and you're not always right. So you should depend on them because they know what's going on. And it's a form of manipulation and control and cause extreme distress again. I wonder why. Um, so like fear, like when you feel threatened, but the threat can be real or it can be just an imagined threat. Like the threat can seem more dangerous or more scary than it actually is. Uh, like globophobia, the fear of balloons. So when we take what globophobia the word means, we take the Latin word globus, which means fear, and the Greek word phobos, which means fear. Sounds very similar. Sphere, fear. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Whatever. So yeah, like I said, it's extreme fear of balloons, and it includes fear, anxiety, or panic at the sight, sound, touch, and or smell of balloons. And there's different types that I will get into very soon. Some people are afraid of the popping noise or it just popping around them, like feels like a threat, right? Some type of threat. And then there are different types of balloons that people can be scared of or freaked out by or they're uncomfortable by when they're like being present. So there's inflated balloons, there's deflated balloons, there's latex and rubber balloons, there's foil balloons, there's balloon animals, there's helium balloons, there's balloons filled with just air, there's water balloons, and there's also hot air balloons, in case you forgot. That surprised me a bit because I forgot that they existed. So yeah, the type of fear can vary. It's pretty individual what type of balloon you are most terrified by. It can be multiple, it can be just one specific one. You know. So yeah. But little fun fact, I found out what the opposite of globophobia is, and it is the balloon fetish. So people liking balloons in a sexual way. And those are usually called lunars. There's like two types. If there's more, I don't know much about this. If you know more about this, write it in the comments. I'd like to know more. Also, no kink shaming. I don't give a flying fart what you do with your life unless you harm innocent life. Don't do that. But otherwise, I don't give a shit. Um, so there's poppers that like are sexually inclined to like pop balloons or also other activities, but they like the popping, right? And then there are non-poppers that can be greatly distressed by the balloons popping, sometimes to the point of tears. Um, so they engage in only activities that don't have to do with popping, like blowing up balloons or deflating them, rubbing yourselves on them. I don't know. There's a YouTube video about that, I think. But yeah, just a little fun fact on the side. So yeah, the fear of balloons, globophobia, is an irrational fear because a balloon is not a real threat. Okay? Um, it's not gonna bite your head off. That's what I mean. Um, but like anyway, it can cause like anxiety, distress, panic, stuff like that, even though there is no real threat there. Like I said, for example, like um there's people that are distressed by only knowing that there's a balloon maybe in the same building as them. Um, doesn't matter if it's in the next room or in the basement or in the attic or I don't know, the apartment next to you. If they know there's a balloon near, they feel a certain way. Or when people can also see like model balloons, like made out of metal or plastic or all sorts of material, probably wood too. It reminds them of balloons, and they still get freaked out by it, even though there's no like threat of it popping, right? Um, but there's certain things that you need to be classified as having globophobia, which go to therapy if you think you have it, and if not, go to therapy anyway. Good. Let's move on. Um, so it's fear. It's the fear or anxiety that you feel for balloons that's out of proportion for the potential danger. And when you feel intense fear or panic or anxiety, that's very difficult to manage in regards to balloons being near you, something reminding you of balloons, the smell, blah blah blah, right? And the fear of balloons has to hold a minimum of 6 months. Then it can be considered a phobia of balloons, right? Globophobia, or and yeah, like if you're scared of something, if you're terrified of something, you will engage in like avoidance behaviors, like not going to birthday parties where there's a lot of balloons usually, or like festivals or whatever, right? You will not want to go there, obviously, which is a bad thing because avoidance actually makes that fear worse. Um, and then like that fear, of course, has to interfere with your day-to-day life and like overall well-being or sense of safety wherever you are, right? Which sense of safety is very important in your own home as well. No matter what threatens your sense of safety, fix it. Um. Okay, so like the phobia can also not be triggered by only real life encounters. It can also be like triggered just of the thought of it, or like if there's a fake balloon, or like you see a balloon on the TV or something in a movie. Can also be triggered by that. Um, or just something that you see, smell, or touch that reminds you of it. Trigger warning. Um, so there's different things that people with globophobia are scared of in regards to balloons, which is the fear of popping, or they really dislike the texture, or they are scared of like the movement where they like float weightlessly in the air and like move towards you or like something like that, which I can understand a little bit more. That is creepy. Um, or like the smell, like the latex rubber smell. I don't like that either, but like I can live with it, I guess. Um, and there's also the fear of the balloons carrying you into the sky. like in the movie Up or in some cartoons where they hold on to a balloon and then you, whoop, you know. I mean, not a good imagination, I guess. Um, and fun fact: if you have one of those following phobias that I'm gonna read out loud now, you have a higher chance of also developing globophobia, which I hope you do not. Um, so related phobias can be phonophobia is extreme fear of loud noises, popping noise, loud noise, makes sense. Or heliophobia, extreme fear of helium, which does it have to be in a balloon? I don't really know how that would work. Probably gotta look into that more. But like helium balloons, right? Makes sense. Like moving through the air weightlessly. We understand. Then there's barophobia, the extreme fear of gravity. Probably that you fall from the sky when it drags you up, right? I don't know. Or then there's casadastraphobia or something. It's the extreme fear of falling into the sky, which I don't know how that would work. You can fall out of the sky when you've been up, but falling into the sky is a little more difficult. But yeah, then there's li- linono- linonophobia, is extreme fear of string, which a string is usually on a balloon. Makes sense, we understand. Then there's colorophobia, the extreme fear of clowns, which a lot of people have probably since 2016. And there's elastophobia, which is extreme fear of elastic bands, which the material of normal balloons that you know, like on parties, is elastic, and maybe that's related, like the texture, probably. I don't know. So yeah, if you have some of these or one of these phobias, you have a higher chance of getting globophobia. Yay! But in the end, there's ways to deal with that, right? You can learn about it, read about the phobia, go to therapy, um, desensitize yourself, spend time around type of balloon that you're not as scared of, or like watch stuff or listen to stuff that's portraying balloons in a more positive way, like Winnie the Pooh or the movie Up. Do that if you want to, if you want your fear to get better. And then something that helps against a lot of mental health diseases anyway to make your life situation better. Meditation. I should probably do that too, but I didn't do that in a long time. I didn't try in a long time, but it helps against so much like stress in general, anxiety, shit like that. There's no harm in that. So, normal thing, and you should do that. So, yeah, that's all I have for now, and I really hope that y'all enjoyed this video. Like I said, I would be so thankful over feedback, any feedback that I get. If y'all want more of these type of videos, I wanted to plan out some more, because as a kid, for example, I was terrified of fake nails, so maybe I can talk about that sometime. I had a dream about my mom dying because of those. Anyways, yeah, if you have weird fears and you want to tell them because maybe you find it funny or other people will find it funny, share them in the comments, for example. Leave a like. And if you want to hear more from me, consider subscribing. Subscribe, maybe, perhaps. And I hope you're doing great. If not, go to therapy. No, I'm kidding. Maybe yes. But it's all gonna be okay. Okay? You got this. We got this. Bye bye.